this is kind of a good little segment that we could do. You know, we had Eric Cantrell on here last year. He really opened our eyes to a lot of things that the KCBS judges are looking for. So I don't want to tie up the whole show on that. We may get you and Al and Eric Cantrell back on another show as we get closer to the American Royal. I'd love to have both of you back if you would be a guest judge or a guest host again. And I think that would be a great show leading up to the Royal because it was fascinating. But what was some of the things that you kind of seen in the barbecue that was kind of a consistency? Sauce was kind of sweet, this and brisket. Maybe like a real quick rundown. I saw this flavor profile consistently with brisket, this with chicken, this with ribs, this with pork. Can you kind of give us that rundown?
Sure. First, I'd like to start that I started judging, I think it was in 17. And the biggest thing I found was that the brisket back then, you could hardly find any good brisket. It was all dry. And the last one I judged is just the complete opposite. Just about everyone's nailed it now. So it's really good.
Okay.
Yeah, with the chicken, you got legs and thighs. I've had breast once or twice, and they didn't do too good with the
Oh,
table.
God.
Yeah, but
All right.
yeah,
Keep on, then we're going to circle
okay.
back on that.
Oh, okay, yeah, and then with the ribs, this I've had baby backs I think 3 times in all the times I've cooked, judged.
Okay.
So yeah, the seasoning in the ribs and well, pretty much the chicken and ribs are really close. The seasoning and the sauces are similar. You
Okay.
can get one every now and then. You'll get one that's way too hot, but for the most part, they're all pretty decent. And I found that not too many of them have much heat on the chicken, and
Okay.
you get a little back end heat on the ribs, and some of them, like I say, will try to kill you with the heat.
Right.
And yeah, and then it unfortunately that tears up the judging for the next uh, meat that you're going to be judging.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and the
So,
pork.
are,
Yeah,
go
with the
ahead.
pork. Yeah, I was judging a competition. I don't know 2 or 3 years ago, and there's a new judge sitting beside me that only judged one time. And back when I first started judging, pulled pork was a big pile of pork, and that was your pork entry.
Right.
And so the lady beside me, we were talking afterwards, and she gave the score. I can't recall, but it was a very low score on appearance. And I explained to her that that was a perfect score because she just too new, didn't understand the difference between the two.
Right.
And yeah, then the brisket, like I say, it's come a long way.
So, did you find the flavor profile on ribs to be kind of like a savory sweet, just a little salty, maybe not overpowering, but you could tell it had a little bit of flavor.
Yeah, yeah, it's and naturally, and you get a lot of blues hog back to start with. Now it's changed some.
Right.
You don't get as much of that, but yeah, you get a little bit of the savory and, like I say, some heat. A lot of times
Okay.
you get the heat,
Okay.
and yeah.
Okay.
So, what
All
is
right.
that secret barbecue sauce that's not Blues Hog, Alan?
He's
Well,
not. I don't
I've
think he wants to give that out. He's going to say blues hog.
now I've got a friend who owns a restaurant who used to be real popular, uh, and has won a lot of competitions, and I use his sauce.
Okay.
And,
There you
Okay, now I
go.
and
got to figure who your friend is
Yeah,
now.
that's right. I'm gonna be googling all his friends that
Yeah.
own at a barbecue restaurant. So that's good. That's a good answer, Al. All right. So I do have a question. I want to circle back with this chicken deal, chicken breast, because I had a conversation with Lee here about what 2 weeks ago, wasn't it, or Lee?
Right.
And I told him, I said, we cook in Louisiana and Texas, Alan, and we all cook half chickens. We're very, very good at cooking chicken breast. I mean, it's a whole half chicken. And
yeah,
I told Lee, I said, you know what? I'm going to the American Royal this year, and I'm going to cook chicken breast, but I'm going to cook an entire whole chicken, a half chicken, and then I'm going to figure out how I can go in and get it off, and then I'm going to slice it in medallions. I'm going to dunk it, and then when I dunk it, I'm going to put it in the box because everybody likes a lot of sauce on it. And I'll tell you, I mean, I cooked it. I let Lee look at it, and I mean, we put a presentation breast in there. I'm going to hold this up to the camera. Now, this was just playing around, but I put some medallions in there. They're very, very juicy. And Lee was like, put a presentation in there. So I put the presentation in there. My wife didn't like it as much. So I took that out. Now, when I did that, I didn't get any with the slices. I thought I had another picture that had just, I put 2 rows of slices in there because that was 5 slices, which was all I could get out of one breast. And I needed the other breast, but, you know, I threw it in there for presentation. So when I got done with it, I cut the other one, I laid it in there, and I had like 4 slices of one, 4 slices of the other, and I laid them in there. So you as a judge, would you rather see a presentation breast in there and the slices, or would you just prefer to see that all slices?
Or none of it?
Shut up, Lee Hickle.
I think, personally, I think I'd like to see the slices.
Okay, all slices. Okay.
Because you can see the meat and see what it is.
Right,
and
right.
It's strange that we're talking about that. I was in Buchanan, West Virginia last month, and after everything was over, I was talking to this one fellow that was still there and spent the night, and we were talking, and I think he was in the top 10. I don't remember what it was, but he turned in corny shins, and he was in the top 10. Yeah, and he said he nailed it, you know, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So my question would be, if you had a chicken breast that you were sampling, I'm assuming you would want it to be a very moist piece of chicken.
Right.
With and I'm going to cook it with the skin on it. I'm not going to wrap it or anything like that. I didn't even peel the skin back the way I cooked the thing. I left the skin on it. It was very tender. It bit clean. One of them was really, really clean. The other one didn't bite as clean, but this was my first time doing it, and I've got things I can do to help that. But if you had a chicken that had the skin did not fall off of it, it was attached to the chicken, it bit incredibly clean, the chicken would be super moist, super juicy, it was coated in sauce. Do you think that would score okay?
It definitely. And you talk about the skin. I was in Galax a few years ago, and my skin was terrible. I took it off and sauced it, turned it in without skin, and I think I was second place.
On a chicken. Okay.
Yeah, on chicken. Yeah.
Told you, Lee. Told you. I'm cooking it. I'm going to do it. So you think, but it would be better if the skin was on it, if it was really good and you bit in it, was just.
But I don't know if you slice it. I don't know how you're going to keep it on there very well.
It stays on there because we're not pulling this. I'm cooking an entire chicken half. Yeah. I'm not cooking just a breast, and I never did peel the skin back, so it literally did not come off. So that's interesting. Well, there we go. See there? I'm trying to
presentation breast. Do it all breast medallions.
Breast medallions.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
all right. Well, F-Bomb Barbecue is doing the same thing. So look out, Mike.
Who's doing that? F-Bomb
Barbecue.
Oh, that's Travis. Well, guess 2 of us are going to run breast now. Thanks, Travis. And thanks, Travis. This is something I was trying to come up with. So
Mike, when you cut those breasts and the medallions, do they dry out quick?
Nope. No, they did not dry out. Because I think the first thing you're doing, as soon as they come off, you're slicing them. They're hot. You're dunking them in sauce. That kept them from drying out. They didn't oxidize. They couldn't dry out because they were dunked in sauce. I put them in the box. They're stacked up, and they went in. And they were, man, I don't know. I was eating it 15 minutes later, and they were just as nice and moist and juicy and very, very good. So.
You cooked them at the Royal last year?
No, I'm cooking them this year at the Royal. I'm done with thighs. Y'all can have them stupid things. I mean, they look good. I can cook an absolutely beautiful thigh. Leo vouched that, you know, I mean, I can cook a pretty thigh, you know, and I don't even I cook thighs once a year when I go to the American Royal. It's the only time I've ever even cooked KCBS.
But you cook chicken breast all the time.
But I cook chicken, you know, I cook half chickens all the time. And I really cook the entire thing together. And I literally, when I was like, how am I going to separate this? I did not want to separate it. And I'm telling you, I had a technique. I went in, I sliced that breast off the bottom. I grabbed that bone and pulled that bone off the bottom, the rib cage, and it came off perfect. And I was like, look at this. And then I went in and I sliced. And I was like, wow, that was way easier than I thought. I didn't even know how that was going to work. And it just literally, it came apart. So, yeah. So I'm rolling breast. If I
What's up,
become a,
Vince?
so
Sounds
anyway,
good.
Vince, glad to have you, brother. Anyway, so thank you, Alan, for kind of sharing that, because I think that's something that, it gives us options. I think if you can cook if you're saying if you can cook a super moist piece of chicken that's got good bite through skin on it and it doesn't fall off, then you got a pretty good shot. And it's different. I want something different at the Royal.
Yeah.